at 12 o'clock. We're going to have right off the bat, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. You got the Southwest Classic in Jerry's World. This one is always a entertaining game. 6 out of the last 10 of these matchups have been decided by single digits. It's been kind of a crazy bounce a ball type game the last few years. And, really the tail of the tail in this one is injuries. Okay, so who's going to overcome key injuries best? Arkansas has been playing for a few weeks now without their talented running back Rocket Sanders, and Texas A&M is likely going to be without their starting quarterback Connor Wegman, and Max Johnson is going to play in a game that he was injured in last year. He ended up breaking his thumb in this matchup last year against the Aggies, and he came in and played tremendously well. Max Johnson, when his number was called, he was ready to go against Auburn and really came in and lit it up. Went 7 for 11, 120-something yards, had a couple touchdowns on the day, no picks, just ran the offense efficiently. Ended up hitting his brother for a touchdown pass, so that's a cool moment for their parents over there, Max Johnson to Jake Johnson, the tight end, and Jake is really kind of taking a larger role this year with Donovan Green being out with that knee injury. So that's something, Texas A&M fans like to see. But what would this win mean for each of these fan bases? And guys in the chat, I know Chris is in the chat. I know we got some Arkansas fans in the chat. You need to hop in here and, tell us as we're going here. But what would this mean for each fan base? Well, for Jimbo Fisher, it would mean, hey, this is happening. Like finally, we're able to win games that, quite honestly, they should win. They should win this game. No disrespect to Arkansas, but Texas A&M is the more talented team. Okay, they have more talent up front on both sides of the ball. They have more talented weapons at receiver on offense. Also at tight end, I know now Noah Luke is doing a tremendous job, and of course he had a breakout game against LSU. So he's a guy that they're definitely going to have to keep an eye on in that Texas A&M defense. And Texas A&M secondary has had problems this year. But what this means is Texas A&M would be finally maturing into the team that, hey, you're supposed to win this game. You're favored to win this game. You're more talented. You need to come in and take care of business and start, because that's the standard for elite teams, right? Doing what you're supposed to do. And they're trying to get into that elite category with the Georgias, with the Alabamas. LSU is what I call a fringe elite team, because sometimes they show up and one side of the ball does what they're supposed to do and the other side doesn't so far. And they made it to the SEC championship game last year. Yeah, I know about 2019 with Joe Burrow and them, but LSU has been very inconsistent. Even sometimes within good years for them, they've been very inconsistent, and they've been inconsistent year to year as a program. Who is in there year in, year out, knocking on the door for national championships? That's where Texas A&M believes they should be, and a win like this would mean, hey, you're getting on the track right there, because Arkansas is a good football team. I don't care that they lost to BYU. I don't care that they lost to LSU. They could have easily won both of those games and be sitting undefeated right now, but they've shot themselves in the foot. Way too many penalties, way too many unforced errors when it comes to this team. They have to just play within the confines of what Dan Enos and Travis Williams have structured for this team as the offensive and defensive coordinator. I love what they're doing defensively. Listen, anybody is going to give up yards and points to LSU. They just are. Malik Neighbors is different now. I'm telling you, he's different. Brian Thomas made some plays. Jaden Daniels has grown into a really, really good college quarterback. But I think this Arkansas team is improved, actually, from last year. Whether the record says it or not, I think they're improved. I like their aggressiveness on defense. I like how they are starting to make plays on the outside. Now, a lot of that has to do with LSU secondary being straight hot dog water right now. It is awful. But I will tell you this, that does a lot for your confidence when you've got guys like Andrew Armstrong making plays, when you've got guys like Luke Hayes making plays, when you've got those running backs now that are kind of settling in a little bit, A.J. Green, Rashad Dubinion, people like that. Will Rocket Sanders play? if Rocket Sanders plays, even if he can just play in a limited amount, some carries, stuff like that, that's going to give a morale boost to this team. And it also just changes your perspective if you're Texas A&M defensively. Do you feel like, hey, I see Rocket Sanders in there. I don't know if he's 100% or not, but I've got to commit an extra hat to the box. And does that allow Isaac Tesla or Isaiah Sategna, or does it allow Andrew Armstrong, those guys on the outside? Luke has to get a one-on-one matchup and allow KJ to hit him for a pivotal point in pivotal play in that game. Of course, when you're talking about Arkansas, always got to be, worried about the quarterback run with KJ. But what it would mean for Arkansas, what this would mean for them is that, hey, Sam Pittman is that right guy. Okay, there's starting to be some questions about it. But these guys play hard for Sam Pittman. Now, the discipline is an issue. Sam's got to get that discipline, under control a little bit, get this team to be not make it errors that are going to they inflict upon themselves. That's a problem. Okay, and the offensive line play has not been up to the standard of Sam Pittman. He knows that. Nobody knows that more than Sam Pittman as a former offensive line coach. But all these people talking about, is Sam Pittman the guy and stuff like that, this would just put an end to all that nonsense. And it's only disgruntled fans that are saying that anyways about stuff, because Sam Pittman is not only a great fit for the Arkansas program in terms of football wise, he's a great fit as a man. Go back yesterday and listen to our morning report and how he's talking about mental health of these players and caring for these players, and trying to navigate them through the ills of life now in modern technology with social media and everything they have to deal with, and the pressures and stuff like that, and the bond that he's created with players for years now, whether it's guys from Georgia that he had that have gone on to the NFL, all this kind of stuff, guys there at Arkansas, people that aren't even football players at Arkansas, commenting on social media yesterday when that video went viral of him talking, saying how great of a man Sam Pittman is. So it's going to mean just calming the waters if you win this game at Arkansas. And it also means that you can still have a very special season at Arkansas. Everything's still out in front of you. You got one conference loss. That's it. Go out, win this game. And now all of a sudden, just like I put out in that video a few weeks ago, Arkansas looks to be a contender again. Texas A&M, it would be a devastating loss for them, and would mean that, hey, Jimbo Fisher does not have this thing where he thought he did in terms of this team's maturity and in terms of this team's ability to execute, and this team's ability to handle adversity, because they do have a little adversity with Connor Wingman being out, but they're prepared for it with the talent and depth behind them, because Max Johnson is not your average backup with 4,600 yards, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in his career. That is not your average backup. So that's what this matchup would mean to both of these programs. It is huge. It is going to get the day going, and I am super excited to watch it.